Hi, everyone. We're taking our hat off to good old awesome autumn. I'm Lee Coyne, your host for Culturama, and we have us there, Mr.
Justin Mikkelsen.
Justin Mikkelsen, here in Salem. And where you hang out? What's your address of your shop? Is where?
My shop is just off Market Street. It's at 3000 Market Street. It's one of the offices located in there.
Okay, off Market Street. Yeah, there's a little, like an office park.
Yeah.
As I recall. They used to have options counseling there in the old days.
It sounds about right. There's so many businesses in there.
Okay, yeah. It's on the south side of the street, not too far from where Hawthorne cuts in.
Yeah, it's super, super close.
Okay.
I call it my little shoebox studio.
Okay. The name of the show is called Portrait Potpourri, however you pronounce it in French. And we're going to learn about the art of portrait making and how he wandered into that field. But once upon a time, he wasn't there when you were a little boy. What was your dream? What did you say? When I grow up, I want to be Mommy. I want to be what?
Oh, man. It shifted so much from
Give me a few
everything.
examples.
Oh, my goodness.
Once upon a time.
Well, when I was in high school, I had it in my head that I wanted to be a graphic designer.
Ah, see.
And I ultimately did start going to graphic design school and got my degree in graphic design.
Good.
After studying music, a little bit of photography,
Do you play an
philosophy. I do. I play tuba.
Oh, okay. I'm going to have you come to my birthday party on Sunday. We'll talk about that off camera.
Oh, there you go.
I once played the baritone horn for a little while, but it was almost as big as I am, and it nearly gave me a hernia and stuff. So,
Oh, yeah.
so that's the situation there. In any event, when you were in junior high or middle school, did you have any artistic leanings at that point in time?
Oh, certainly. I was in art classes all through my primary school days.
Yeah.
So not just your like everybody sit in class and do an art project thing. Mm-hmm. It was like when I was in high school, I loved my art classes. And
So what kind of art did you groove over, to use a teenage term?
Oh gosh, we did all kinds. The thing that really connected with me was when I did the things working with the programs, with the computer programs, your Adobe Photoshop, your Illustrator, the thing, because I'm a very technical person. I relate better when I've got something that's got a little bit of technological oomph to it, and I seem to, my creativity seems to kick in then. It's really weird.
His T-shirt's going to say, "What the heck? I love tech."
There you go. There you go.
I come up with instant poetry, whether it makes any rhyme or reason or neither of the above. But be that as it may, did you have any role models when you were growing up? I want to be like such and such, that you thought that you would follow in their footsteps?
Oh my. Well, not so much, I wouldn't say.
Family members who were artistic?
Yeah, not really. I grew up in the restaurant business. It's probably the closest thing to artistry. One of the things my dad used to do when I was in grade school is he made the fruit baskets out of, say, like watermelons and all the decorative things. He would take an orange and be able to make it into a little animal or whatever. It was really cute. And even one time when I was in grade school, he came in and talked to my class about and made fruit baskets for everybody in front of them.
And he had a fruitful career as a result.
Yeah, it was fruity.
He didn't wind up a fruitcake, hopefully.
I don't know. I'm not going to get into that on camera.
No comment. That's off subject a little bit.
For sure.
I free associate a little bit on this show. Well, it's a fun show. I mean, people who want to come up on, and a lot of people have seen us and decided that they want to contact me, luckycoin@yahoo.com, and became people who are our honored guests. And just give me a week or two notice and we can fit you on. We do our taping on Wednesdays and Fridays alternately in the afternoon, and it's not live, there's no studio audience here, and so it's cool and you won't get overheated. Enough on that. Anyway, tell us, when you first started out in doing portrait art, what was the beginning point for you?
Well, it all started about 15 years ago when I took my first class in photography in college.
Okay.
The only reason, and I love telling this story, it's so funny.
Tell us.
The only reason that I took the class was because the professor was from my hometown of Mount Angel.
Oh, yes.
He could have been teaching geology, and I would have taken it, just because that's where he was from. I wanted to say I took a class from the guy from my hometown. And Mount Angel, it's a small town.
Yes, I've been there.
There's not many people there, so I thought it was really cool that I was in the Portland metro area going to college.
And every street is crowded.
It doesn't count. It doesn't count.
Papa.
Yeah, this is true. So I took the class and I fell in love with my camera. I was borrowing one. I was very sad that I had to turn it in at the end of the semester, and ended up buying one from him. It was a film camera, a little Pentax, and I've had a camera attached to the hip ever since.
Is that a good starting camera?
There's nowadays no. It's you don't want to have a film camera to start with. I mean, there are some technical things that are really good to know from film,
but
but
cell phone stuff.
Yeah,
someplace.
Not such a good choice for beginning photography.
By the way, I want to tell the audience, if you have a cell phone and you might lose it, and if an honest person might find it, put an address label on the back of your cell phone, and the chances are they'll track you down and return it to you. But if not, you might be lost forever. Just a little hint for Thanksgiving.
That's a good tidbit. Add that to our to-do list.
And I also do it on umbrella handles, because I've lost a lot of umbrellas.
Oh my.
Yeah, me and what's her name? Mary Poppins. She lost a few on her.
Can you fly too?
Well, yeah, it's a fly-by-night operation. As in a fly in the wall.
Very cool.
Okay, so tell us more. You borrowed this camera, then you bought your own. Are starting cameras fairly expensive these days? Or give us the ballpark of how to.
Kind of depends on what you're after. I mean, in general, you can usually get away with getting a good camera for a few $100.
Now, what you're about to tell us could be very educational for people who are shopping around for Christmas presents, which has already started.
Oh, certainly.
Okay, so
yeah.
If you're dealing with getting a camera for a kid, 7, 8, 10 years old, what kind of camera would be appropriate for that age span?
Well, for just a little kid, 7, 8, 10, my oldest daughter's 6. I mean, honestly, the best things to be teaching a little kid are just basics of composition. You're not going to get a camera like this that it really takes some knowledge to be able to operate it. And let's get real, kids drop things. So if we're going to get a child something, I would want to get them something that's safe to drop. That's something that's something like, I don't know, an old cell phone could be great for them. Because you can teach them the basics of composition and all of the little artsy things before you get into the technical side of it, and give them a leg up.
Do you know any places that rent cameras?
Well, Focal Point in Dallas for one.
Okay. The other thing is that some thrift shops can have a worthwhile camera.
Yeah.
Maybe you should, before you buy it, or you could probably buy it and bring it back. Bring it to a camera shop and ask them.
Honestly, and I tell this to people all the time, if you're just getting started, go shop the used market. Don't go to Costco and buy an $800 package of camera or $1,200 or whatever. Go buy something cheaper that can get your feet wet.
Baby steps in camera land.
Exactly.
I used to be a journalist from New York, so I think in terms of headlines.
Oh, okay.
Really.
Now it all comes together.
Because part of a journalist's job is to take the first paragraph or first 2 paragraphs of the story submitted by the reporter and then come up with a snappy, eye-catching headline. And so my mind has been brainwashed in that direction for years and years. I've been a journalist on and off for about 50 years, more than half of my life, so it's in my bloodstream.
Yeah.
And that's how I allegedly think, Okay, so you bought a camera. Now, what kind of practice do you need? You don't have a professional with you to go out. What kind of pictures do you start with? Take a picture of your family cat or dog or
anything.
Or food on the table.
Yeah, and everything is photographable. Okay. Everything. We have a candle right here. I could have a field day with this candle and spend 5 minutes with it right now.
In fact, you and I realize that Thanksgiving is coming up. This is a goose, not a turkey, of course.
Oh, okay. Well.
Or a mallard duck. But anyway, if you want to make an appetizing beginner's photo album, you could get your mommy's good favor, daddy if he cooks a little bit too, and take pictures of them cooking and the finished dish that they come out with, particularly if it's colorful and all. And you could begin to make your own cookbook with pictures of the finished products of their thing and become a culinary cook expert.
You certainly could do that.
The Culinary Camera 101.
You know, it's really funny you bring that up because a lot of folks think that photography is all about just pointing a camera at something and hitting snap. And there's so much more to it.
Yes.
Not just within a camera, but from the light that you use. I mean, what the camera right here can't see is what's lighting us up. We have lights all around us that make us look good to this camera. And the same thing is true of still photography. We've got to be able to light our subject properly to be able to get a desired result.
Tell us about composition, Justin.
Oh my!
What goes into it?
Well, if you've heard of it, the rule of thirds is always a good rule of thumb. Rule of thumb. Go hitchhiking with the rule of thirds. That's always the best place to start. And it's different for portraits than it is for landscape. A really great example for portraits is the eyes. The eyes are your true subject of a photograph.
The window to your soul.
It's true. It's very true. So when we take a photo of somebody, you'll notice, like with the school portraits of kids, there's always this big chunk of space from their head to the top of the photo. Well, why is that? Well, it's because you want to zero in on their eyes, and if you frame the photo out into thirds from top to bottom,
yes,
you'll see that the eyes sit right on the line. The eyes sit right on the line of that top third, and having that little bit of gap up top gives you a nice balanced spacing of the frame. And you come away with a photo that you feel really good about. You want to hang on your wall and say, oh, look, little Johnny, he's so cute, and then do it again next year.
Do you have children?
3 of them.
Okay. Let's say you were talking to your 6-year-old. What would be some of the things that you would give in the early instructions of how to use a camera? Because we have a lot of parents out there watching our show.
That's a great question. We kind of got started already, and what I encourage my 6-year-old to do is grab her camera and try to think before she takes her picture. Because every kid, you hand them a camera, what do? They start pointing the camera around and just clicking the shutter as much as they can. All of a sudden, in a minute, you've gotten about 50 pictures on a little point and shoot.
Slow down.
Yeah.
Concentrate.
Exactly.
Concentrate, but don't constipate.
And what's interesting is I'm actually teaching a gal photography right now, and I tell her the exact same thing, that you want to have a very clear idea of what you're photographing before you photograph it. So if I'm going to approach this candle, I'm going to think about what I want to achieve by photographing this candle.
Yeah.
Is it going to go on a Christmas card? Am I trying to put it into a catalog of candles that I'm going to photograph? Am I
Literally the framework.
Yeah. Am I going to be using it for a piece of a composite that I'm going to do in Photoshop, where I'm bringing lots of photos together? There are a lot of questions that we want to ask and that we want to have answered before we go and take a photograph.
I'm going to ask you a sneak question. Melissa, your wife, is watching you from the sidelines. What is her favorite types of portraits that you've done? Does she
Her
have
favorite type?
What does she lean toward?
She likes things where I use a lot of color.
Okay.
She really loves it when I use a lot of color. And
any favorite color she have?
Her favorite color is purple. So I throw the purple in a lot. It makes her happy.
That's a royal color.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right. Okay. That's why she's the queen of the house.
Okay. Does she advertise grape juice?
She doesn't. Maybe we should start.
She should get a commission from Welch's. No, I invented a crazy game. Anybody on television watching this can use it. It's called What Flavor Are You Wearing? Now this is sort of pumpkin, and this is mocha, and this is licorice with a little bit of raspberry thrown in for good measure. Well, you have some coffee here, and also, what flavor are you wearing? It's a great conversation starter.
Absolutely.
And your licorice today with a little blueberry on the bottom.
This is true. This is true.
Okay.
I told my wife I should have worn my polo shirt with my nice little logo on it, but
Okay, professional photo dude.
yeah.
Yay.
Yay.
Okay. Did you want to list where people get in touch with you? And they'll flash it on the screen.
Oh, certainly.
Your email or website is what?
Certainly. Well, the great news is we've got the spelling of my name up there, or we did at the beginning of the show. Very simple, justinmikkelsen.com. Follow me on the socials, Facebook and Instagram at nwphotodude.
Good.
At nwphotodude.
Yeah. Okay. So we've introduced the Wild Goose Chase, and now are there any professional workshops around this town, or do any of the colleges give professional courses in photography, whether it's like Chemeketa or Corbin or Western Oregon or Willamette? I don't think I left out anybody.
So a great question. Chemeketa is a great place to go to get a beginner's photography education and really start to advance into something that you could honestly use in a career. They've got a great program. It was built up by my professor in college, the one that got me started.
Okay, good.
So that's one. That's certainly one thing.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing, for someone who's more of a hobbyist that's really getting into it, there are two great locations around that offer classes and things and seminars and some clubs in the area that you can go and just really keep the skills up. One of those, Shutterbug, right here in town. It's off of Commercial Street. And then, of course, Focal Point out in Dallas has very, very active in classes and whatnot. I'll be giving a little class next month, in fact.
Good. Okay. Are you having any special exhibits for the holidays?
We don't have any exhibits coming out.
Okay.
We've got a couple of portrait specials
Okay,
we'll be running soon.
We have a little over a minute left. I have a closing. I wouldn't call it a wish. It's a fantasy.
Oh, okay.
Every April is National Poetry Month. If you could touch base with the local poetry group, I could give you the name later on, or with the library writers group to do poetry captions for any of your portraits, you could merge two creative fields together. It's not usually done, but I don't see why you
I would
can't-
love that.
Your cousin Fields.
I would love that, especially for my social media postings, to be able to promote some local poets and use those in connection with my photographs. Would love it.
Now you know why I was called the short Longfellow. It's true. Many years ago. I'm only about 5'2" or thereabouts, but I say in case of a drive-by shooting, I could duck the bullets, and the other guys get it instead. That's my defense mechanism.
Hey, there you go.
Okay. Any closing thoughts to our audience out there that is writing on their yellow legal pads of your information?
Get a camera, pull out your phone, and go take pictures. Anything less, it's not okay. You got to go do it.
Carry on. This is Lee and Justin signing off. Happy Thanksgiving. We've done it. Now.